Hello, welcome to the Facial Recognition Comedy Podcast. This is Zahra Ali.
This is Fizaa.
I'm Pallavi.
And today, you guys get blessed with a very special episode of Just Us Three.
Yeah.
It's not just us. It's us.
It's okay.
We don't
Sorry.
hang.
It's us.
It's us.
No, but I like when people say, "Oh, it's just us.
It's intimate.
It's just the three of us. Just the three of us. We can make it if we try. Just the three of us.
You and I.
Yeah.
You and I.
The two of you and I. When are we going to start our pop band?
I thought we were working on this girl
cool.
band takeover.
Yeah, we have a shoot.
You guys can auto-tune that, right? I'll do the rapping. Can I rap?
We need a name. The Spice Girls is already used,
Which is insulting because the British never used spices.
Yeah, they stole our spices.
They think that baby is a spice.
Yeah,
Yeah, they got their spices from us.
Yeah,
I mean, our ancestors.
They
But
never used it. I don't know. What would our name be?
the Masala Muses.
Oh my God.
I don't know. I'm horrible.
Yo, we need to make that version of Hercules.
the sorry sirens.
Ooh, because we destroy men.
the sorry, not sorries. I don't know.
I feel like someone already has all of that, all of those
The
websites.
sorry, not sorries. Yeah, that's definitely taken. Some woman who wrote comedy once upon a time just took it for her LLC.
Ooh,
I was looking into this.
shade.
She's not doing anything with it.
Give it to us, bitch. Brown Girl
Man,
Magic.
I'm like
Support
going
us.
through all this right now with my branding, trying to figure out what Zara I want to be in the world. And it's like all the Zaras are on the internet and it's like awful.
What about the real Zara, the OG
The
Zara?
real Zara, the
don't-
OG Zara, the Zara Live. Like there's
Zara don't give a fuck about
Zara
no other
comedy.
Zaras.
Zara comedy is taken by another fabulous comedian named Zara. Like it's just all the Zaras in the world. Stop being so
Yo,
dope, or just get off the internet.
Send in your suggestions for what Zara's social media should be.
Or
Yes, please.
we can do that show before all that happens. The We're Not the Same Zara show.
Oh
You
yeah,
brought up. Yeah.
yeah. So I'm thinking about this because currently I think there's 4. There may be 5 Zaras in the comedy world right now. So I'm thinking of doing just like an offshoot of facial recognition of all the Zaras that were not the same Zara. So please stop sending us stage pictures of each other and booking us on the wrong show.
It's kind of cute, though. I think by the time this comes out, there will be more Zaras in the comedy community because brown people be fucking.
I'm
so.
sure, yeah.
Baby fucking.
I was out here thinking I'm going to be the only Zara in comedy. No. But I think you might be the only Fizaa in comedy.
For now.
And you're the only Pallavi in comedy. So you are truly unique.
Nah.
There's another Pallavi?
There's a girl in sketch or something. So
Yeah.
Well, that's enough distance.
Yeah.
Let her get into stand-up and then
Sketch is different.
we'll start sweating.
But once her agent tells her to try comedy, then you should be scared.
I'm fucked.
There can be more than one, guys, until there's another
know.
Fizaa, and then I'm pissed.
Well,
I have a second cousin named Fizaa.
Isn't it weird how like it would be so weird for there to be more of like I've met a few Pallavis, but I was always like one or one of two in all of my schools.
Yeah.
So it was just always weird to have to go by like a last name. We've never been a Sarah. Like we've never had that issue. I guess Zara's the closest.
Yeah. Well, I've gone by Ali a lot, Z Ali a lot, because especially since moving here, because there's a lot of Persians out here, and so Zara is a very common Persian name. But yeah, I always went by Ali because it was easier because white people can't say our names.
What does Zara mean?
Zara, so it has 2 meanings. My parents went by the Arabic meaning, which means like first light or morning light,
So
light at dawn.
They chose the meaning.
They chose. So it depends on how you pronounce it too. There's Zara, which is like morning light, and then there's Zara, like similar to Sarah, which is like a flower or a seed or
Is
whatever.
that spelled the same?
It's spelled differently. So I have an H in my name, so you spell it. You say it as Zara.
Is that Arabic?
Zara is like Persian / Arabic /
What's the pronunciation? Zahra?
It's Zara. Zara.
It's like you're singing a Jessica Simpson song. Zara.
Yeah.
So your name means...
Yeah, like morning light, light at dawn. Yeah.
And what does your name mean, Pallavi?
Pallavi means new leaf or doll. One of those is true because I'm always abandoning shit. And then there's also like a song that has it as like part of like the rhythm. It's like Ragam Thagam Pallavi. But yeah, that's it.
Yeah, my parents told me my name means good atmosphere.
That's true. I feel like that fits you.
You definitely live up to your name. Yeah.
Thanks. It's like, I think it also means breeze. So maybe like what it really means is like it's comfortable outside. And they're like, oh, good atmosphere, good vibes, good vibes. But I mean, it probably just means like, oh, it's 70 outside.
It's pretty chill,
Fizaa.
though.
It's Fizaa outside.
It's Fizaa outside.
You're very breezy. I would call you that.
We're all...
I'll take what I can get at this point.
I like how we're all we're all on our laptops doing. I'm checking on my program that it's running at school right now off of my desktop.
I'm trying to find our agenda for today since
We
it's
have
us three.
okay.
I'm always lost.
I have a Google Drive with all this. Here, I'll pass this over.
I see beats.
But it's below that.
FRC podcast segments.
Yeah, there we go.
Found it.
So we generally have a guest and we get into their background and stuff. But we decided that for the show with the three of us, we'll have some segments so we can move this along and have more fun.
Ooh.
So Fizaa, do you want to lead us off with something?
Yeah. So right now my segment's called a mental health check-in, but I'll find a better name for it. So I'd like to start that off by asking how you guys feel. Zahra, how do you feel right now? Like right now in this moment, how do you feel?
In this moment, I feel, I don't know. I feel a lot of things. I feel, what's the word where like you have a lot of things going? I feel scatterbrained.
Ambivalent?
No, that's like you feel equally about multiple things.
No, yeah, I have like mixed feelings about a lot of things right now. But right now I think I'm just scatterbrained. Like I'm trying to organize my thoughts.
Yeah.
Which I have been trying to do for the past few weeks.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I'm happy about certain things, you know? So I always like go back to the happy thoughts about happy things when like things get crazy. And I'm like, at least I have this.
Yeah.
But then like I start thinking about other things like work or family or other things that are triggers or stressing me out. And I'm like, I'm not perfectly happy, but
you have a lot on your plate.
I always have a lot on my plate, but like lately, like, you know, like I feel like I'm barely holding on by a thread and always running on fumes. And then like if something else is like added to the mix, like everything falls apart. Mm-hmm. So like the past couple of weeks I've been dealing with like, you know, just this added variable that's now like
taken over.
So I have to like figure out how to like survive basically. Yeah. I'm just catching up right now.
Yeah.
I'm always catching up, but like emotionally I feel like I'm catching up.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that's an important question of like, how are you feeling right now? Because it's taken me years of therapy. Like, we didn't have that language at home. I feel like a lot of Indian families or South Asian families didn't have that vocabulary. Because I think like it's a luxury to be able to look at that stuff because, you know, you have survival, make your basic survival needs, food, clothing, education, or whatever. And then when you have all of that, like you have the privilege really to have existential issues and depression.
Yeah. That's why depression's like your joke about depression being a white people thing.
Yeah.
It's because they got that privilege to be depressed. Otherwise,
yeah, I forgot what my joke joke was.
I'm trying to get to know white people better. I'm saying things that they're saying. Like
it was like under like my list of things white people say, like I'm depressed.
Yeah.
Or David Murphy, another comedian, told me this, like, oh, who rents?
Yeah, that's so funny.
Yeah.
How about you? How are you feeling right now in this moment?
I feel weird.
What's weird?
I'm tired. I'm also stressed about work. I never feel like so I'm in a PhD program and I'm doing research and I feel like I can handle classes in that school fine now. Like I figured that shit out, gotten better at that since undergrad. But like I feel like I'm still bad at research and it's like that's what's paying for everything. Like that's what's paying for I'm getting paid to do research and not do it poorly. And that helps pay for my comedy. But I feel like I'm just disappointing my professor and stuff all the time.
But are you really, or are you being hard on yourself?
No, I think I'm really doing it. Like I think people in comedy always give me like an extra. They're like, oh, she's so smart. She'll figure it. I bet she's just mean because she's mean to herself in comedy. But it's like, no, bitch, I'm like fucking up a little bit. But it's like, I'm trying, like I'm running the thing. I'm constant. I'm doing the thing that you're doing, Zahra. I'm like
always
trying
multitasking.
to balance and like keep the plate spinning. And then I also feel like I fucking love comedy. I love it so much. And like I was in Portland this weekend and I got the most stage time in the shortest amount of time that I've ever gotten. And I got to connect with a bunch of queer people who were part of the Portland Queer Comedy Fest. And it was just like so relaxing and amazing. And I was like, I want my life to be like this. And then
all the time.
And then I come back and I'm just like, and I had a series of like negative interactions with people and then like school and responsibilities. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's just a weekend away at a festival.
Yeah.
Did you want to talk about the negative interactions?
It's just like people being like racist and sexist online and shit. I think this is a thing that we're all having trouble with. Like, I don't know how to interact with people online because you want people to support your shit. And it's a terrible method of communication to convey ideas because people use different syntax and terminology and tone than they would normally in person. You can't see their face. But it affects you, and you're just, and like I'm the type of bitch that I'm just like, fuck this, I'll talk about it. I don't give a fuck if they don't like me. Like, you know what I mean? But then simultaneously you're like, I don't want to like ruin their day if it was a miscommunication.
Yeah.
You know?
Let's consider it.
I don't know. I don't know how I'm handling it.
I want to give people the benefit of the doubt. You know, like I'm sure they don't have bad intentions. I think also like people are not exposed to like the diversity and, you know, they don't have the training or the know-how to talk to women of color or to, you know, like I've been in places like, you know, like St. Louis and Rochester, Minnesota, where like these aren't small towns, they're cities. But like I've been in weddings where it's like, you know, 4 or 5 of my cousins and they're like, oh, there's another one. There's another one. Oh my goodness, you're beautiful. And it's like they're shocked. They're looking at us like we're zoo animals. But at the same time, like they're amazed because they just are not familiar and they don't have the training. They're not exposed to it, right?
Yeah,
and
I would say
I think that's part of it too.
Yeah, but it's just like it's fine. It's like I'm fine communicating with people and like trying to be patient and stuff. But oftentimes it all comes at once. Like I don't know why or like how, but like I had a couple interactions online, and then when I was in Portland, there was this like white lesbian couple. And they just like wouldn't like. There was one who like one of the ladies like talked to me, and she just kept like fetishizing, like she kept touching me and like telling me I was beautiful and like the "where are you from" thing like over. And I did the thing where I was like Utah, Texas, blah blah blah, you know. And she's like, "But come on, what is your?" And they were like kind of drunk and stuff. And then I was like, I was playing dumb because women of color have to hear that a lot and makes us feel othered and all this stuff. And then they immediately went into like white victimization. Like she was like, no, I don't mean to make you feel uncomfortable. And then her girlfriend was like, I can't believe that a compliment just turned so nasty. And they were both like, it's this Trump thing. And I'm like, no, we've been dealing with this shit forever. It's just tired. Like I'm so bored of the same conversation. You know what I mean? Like I'm just tired of having, it's like
what is white victimization? Is that a real thing?
Well, I think like for the first
white
time,
victimization?
white people are being called out.
It's when they get hella defensive because they fucked up. It's like I say racist shit by accident. I make mistakes. Just be like, my brain is racist. I gotta fix it. Like and move on. Or just don't be like, no, I can't believe you would think I'm a racist.
People get defensive. I think I don't know. I mean, also as women, we're so trained to apologize. My first thing is like, if I feel like I offended someone, I'll apologize right away.
Yeah.
You know, because you can't change in that instant, like how your brain is wired.
Yeah. That's why it's just like, you know, it's not unexpected or unusual that they were defensive.
It's not. It's just like I was trying to order tea and I couldn't move. You know what I mean? Like, I literally, I just wanted them to stop talking to me. And she just kept touching me. And I was like, ugh.
Like,
I hate that.
They think they're doing something that, you know, is nice.
Yeah.
Was she hot at least? I'll let hot people touch me.
I know.
I'm horrible.
Sorry.
I know.
I encourage hot people to touch me.
I'm sorry, Pallavi.
That was a rant. It's just like it was just so awesome. Like the Portland Queer Comedy Fest, shout out to them. They're like amazing, and just being in that like bubble was so nobody cared about anything. Nobody cared about like race or sex or gender or whatever the fuck. Like they were just like, we're here to tell jokes to be funny and have fun, and it was great.
Yeah.
But so that was like the contrast. But I'm happy that I had that experience. How are you, Fizaa?
Me, God, I tend to run a little, I guess, anxious anyway. But I'm, you know, the same thing, overwhelmed, juggling everything. I'm going to, well, you guys know I'm going to Saudi Arabia in 2-3 weeks. And
That's so exciting.
It's coming.
I mean, exciting's one way to describe it. I mean, like, I'm going to have to completely be covered the entire time. We're going to be in a desert in the middle of summer doing all kinds of rituals that I just need to assign meaning to so I'm not miserable.
I mean, that's what Burning Man is.
Yeah.
So,
But Burning
Just
Man,
think of it
you don't
as the
have to wear
opposite of
clothes.
Burning Man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to wear clothes.
no, in Burning Man, they wear like furry outfits and stuff for the people with drugs to feel happy.
Yeah. Well, I don't have drugs there.
That's a problem.
That is a problem.
Hey,
They have hookah there. Hookah is like a big thing.
I don't
What
think
is it? Hudgers?
Huh?
Do they call them Hudgers?
Hajis.
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 Hajjas for women,
Haj-
right?
Hajis and Hajjas?
Hajis and
Have you thought about getting drugs? Have you thought about doing drugs on that trip? It might be fun.
Well, I think you're supposed to be in a state of, what is it called? Ihram?
something like that.
Something like that,
Yeah,
where you're
just
not
a state of peace.
Yeah.
That's
so,
what Iran means?
yeah.
Ihram,
So,
yeah.
Oh, that's she's going to be a guest on our podcast soon, my friend.
so yeah, a state of just sort of like no sex, obviously no drinking there ever, but
You should just go up to your parents and be like, stop, no fucking,
No.
you two.
no arguing. That's what I like. How are they going to do that?
That's amazing.
How are they going to? I know. But are they going to? They're not going to be in a state of Ihram. I've never seen them go more than 5 minutes being around each other, not arguing.
Just say that word to them every time they start. Yeah. And just be like, we're here for Iran.
Does Saudi Arabia have any like cool exports? Like, can you bring anything back from there? That would be
Yeah,
like a
definitely.
fun-
You can bring the Zamzam water, which is the
Oh yeah, the pure water.
pure water
that?
from there.
Oh, from like
It's like from the springs that like naturally comes from there, and it's supposed to be sacred and
I
pure.
mean,
and,
religious tourism is like the
Yeah.
biggest or the third biggest industry there.
I'm
Yeah.
surprised.
They rely on it. heavily.
I'm surprised
so
Nestle hasn't bottled it
so
yet.
the Kaaba, like the place where like you do the pilgrimage around, that's like in the Guinness Book of World Records for like holding the. It's like one of the biggest arenas that holds the most amount of people.
Millions. There's a
Millions.
mosque that
You
holds
think-
millions,
you
and the
think we're
Kaaba's
gonna-
inside of it.
Are we gonna have an FRC show there sometime? You can sell
I'll
that
ask-
out. I'll pack. We can pack
Yeah,
those
you know.
seats. I feel like those are
Oh
our
my
people.
Just just got to tell them that you bear witness that there's no God but Allah.
How do you think
and
they'll-
also that Prophet Muhammad is.
How do you
Yeah.
think they'll do with my pussy jokes?
I mean, I think
You might
maybe-
get stoned.
Ooh,
There is part of the ritual where you throw stones at something.
Oh yeah,
right?
the devil. So I guess
Yeah.
you'd be the devil.
Yeah, you might
thank
get
you
stoned.
so much. Thank you for that. I'm excited.
Don't go to Saudi Arabia and voice your anything because they just allowed women to drive.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the place to.
So don't go to Saudi Arabia for me. This is it. Just don't
hey,
go.
I don't even want to go. I'm sure
I don't want to get arrested.
yeah. So
I'm just trying to stay. I'm just trying to get back. But I don't know. Like
That is
I
a little
heard,
scary.
I was watching some weird documentaries, which I do, and there's something I've been told that people who go to Saudi Arabia, there's like a palpable energy there. Like it feels almost magical. And I don't know whether it's just sort of like the collective consciousness there, everyone's sort of in that state of peace, or a lot of people say there's a geographical there's something special about the geography of the location.
I've heard this too,
Yeah.
but you let me know if it's like a better energy than like a sold out comedy club. Let me know
Yeah.
because
Well,
I feel like
it's going to be different. you
Yeah.
know? I mean,
Yeah.
comedy is like rock and roll. This is just sort of like meditation
Yeah.
for 13 days while
But
running back and
it's
forth.
so hard to be in that meditative state when there's millions and millions of people around you.
I know, and I don't like crowds either. I'm
Yeah.
anxious. I'm anxious about a lot. I don't like being awake on airplanes. I don't.
I don't like that either. Like I always force myself to fall asleep on airplanes, and also like whenever I used
do
to
that
have,
too.
I used to have a lot of like dental work, like cavities and shit, and I would like get into like. I don't know. I've never like actually meditate. I don't know if this was it, but I would just like zone out to the point of almost falling asleep while getting cavities drilled. I feel like it's crazy. Like I
That's
literally
a coping mechanism.
It is because I'm just like I don't want to be here. This is painful,
Yeah.
and I feel like it might be the same thing where you like, and it might be like better, like train you better on how to like zone out when there's
I mean,
so many
I'm an
people.
expert at zoning out, but I want to practice being like present. Like I want to, because it's so hard for me. Like this
yeah.
world is so hard. This reality. Like I just want to just go somewhere else
Yeesh.
sometimes. But
Definitely, you'll have a lot of material from it and a lot of new experiences.
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm excited to be in that area. So I am excited. I'm anxious. You know, it's just there's a lot of planning.
Yeah.
And it's like we have so much stuff to do here, like career wise, that it's just like, oh, well, I got to do that too.
Yeah, I mean, just take
I'm trying to
2
be
weeks.
Grateful for the opportunity.
Take 2 weeks, do the thing, and report back, and also consider it as like time with your family.
I mean, like that's not. Is that a plus? Is that a pro? I'm kidding, but
it could be a pro and a con.
I mean, it's going to be an extreme stress situation.
Yeah.
So,
but if everybody's in this like meditative state or this state of ihram, then hopefully it all turns out well.
Yeah.
Also, it's one of those things that you're like always going to remember. It's like a huge trip.
I mean, that's why I ultimately agreed, was because I wasn't going to pay for this. And I wasn't gonna, this is my opportunity to do this thing I don't want to do.
Do you think your parents have an ulterior motive for bringing you?
She got married when she
are they hoping to like cleanse your soul?
Yeah,
or something?
absolutely, because they're practicing Muslims. I think my dad thinks, okay, well, it's his duty as a parent to protect my eternal soul. But my thing is, and you know what the belief is? You go to Mecca, and if your Hajj is accepted, all your sins are cleared. I don't like the idea of sins. Like, I don't think my soul needs saving. My soul is intact.
So you don't think anything you've done, you don't think you've done actual like sinning up until this point? Like, you haven't done choices. Okay.
And there, I think there are many things that I can make amends for, and I would like to, and choices I would make differently now. Mm-hmm. But I don't want to. I beat myself up enough.
Yeah.
I don't need a God that judges me.
Yeah.
I need a God that loves me. I need to love myself.
Yeah, like I think of it more as like I don't know if you could like gamify this whole thing called religion, but it's like in this world of the religion, like I'm down this many points. So if it like cleans my slate, so like that world, like I'm good in that world, like okay, fine.
Well, the thing about a judgmental God, that bothers me. I don't like the idea of day of judgment. I don't like the idea of punishment. Like it's just. So I just feel like the dogma bothers me. I like the sort of like that seed of enlightenment that's at the base, I feel like, of a lot of spiritual beliefs. But then, it becomes basically a government.
I loved the movie Dogma. It was pretty good.
I loved Alanis Morissette.
That was
as God.
That's pretty great. Yeah. It would be really fun if you came back and you told everyone you're going, and then you came back and you just pretended to be hella Muslim when you came back.
Oh, you guys
can you come back with like in
everyone?
A burqa?
That's what I'm saying.
Burqa everywhere for like a good week.
Just fool everyone and freak everybody out.
Y'all better soak in these legs.
Hey.
Oh my God, you guys! Dogma came out in 1999. It's almost 20 years old.
Yeah. That's when Chris Rock's heyday, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got served. I saw this poster for You Got Served, and it was like 15, 18 years old. And I'm like, that's crazy, because that was like the cool movie for dancers.
That's crazy.
Cool. So I think that will conclude the mental health check-in. You guys feel complete? Everyone feels complete?
No. But I feel better.
Well,
I feel better.
Part 2 next time.
Sure, yeah.
Or next time is the 3 of us. Or maybe we'll check in with our guests. I don't know. What do you guys want?
I don't know. We'll figure it out.
I was talking to the listeners.
Oh.
But I mean, fuck it. Everyone's...
I can't hear them talk back.
Cool. So, I think...
next on this list?
V's section.
Yeah.
Man crush of the week. So we called it Man Crush Mondays, but I think we come out on Tuesdays. So whenever you listen to it, this would be the man crush lately. And like, I don't know. My usual stance on men is like they don't do anything worth crushing over,
That's
like,
why I love that you have this segment.
So it's like it's forced me to like find men who do like noble things.
I'd like to also point out that you're the one that's in a happy relationship here with a man.
Yeah. No, he's great. We were talking about him before, like last night or something.
He brought you Twizzlers.
He did. Actually, no, he was eating my Twizzlers. But I was having like a really rough day, and I think I like just mentioned like I'm losing it, and he just showed up. Like he was at my place like waiting for me when I came home after acting class at like midnight. So I was like,
sweet.
Oh, that's nice. You're here eating my Twizzlers. But that's fine. No, he's gonna be a man crush, whatever, but like outside of him, like I've been a man hater for so long.
That song was about you.
For decades. Like, I don't ever remember a time when I didn't hate men or I wasn't like, this is unfair. Why are men being treated like this and I'm being treated like this? Like, there's always been this like, and you girls have probably experienced this too, where it's like, you're a girl, you have to do girl things, and they're boys, and they can do all these things that you're not allowed to do. And so since a very early age, like, I've just hated boys and I've hated men for that reason.
It's like a resentment.
Like out of jealousy. Like, why do you guys get all this freedom and I don't? And why are you guys held to much lenient expectations than I am? And as I've gotten older and older, I've realized like that's all just solidified over time.
Yeah.
Because men continue to get away with all the bullshit and we have to continue to work harder and we're held under different expectations.
So it's hard to crush on them.
It's very hard to crush on them.
Oh, that's what this segment is about.
Yeah.
Right?
I know. It's very hard to crush on them. But like I still try. Because we have to live in a world where we can coexist and not hate each other. Unfortunately, because we have to, even though like men at work talk over me all the time. But anyway, so I decided to take on this segment, Man Crush Mondays, or whatever the day is, to force myself to find men that are noble and nice and people to look up to. So I had to like really go deep into this one. So I found one all the way in Texas, in Houston. It's police officer Sandy Fernandez. It's a police officer, you guys.
It's a police officer.
Police officer Sandy Fernandez. He was at a quinceañera, and there was a little girl in a wheelchair, and she wanted to dance. She was really feeling the music, and he came up to this little girl and started dancing with her.
That's cute.
And it's like this video that went viral, and it's like, that's so cool. Thank you, Officer Fernandez, for doing that. But it's also like, yeah, we need to see more of that from police officers and just like men doing nice things.
That's deep.
You know?
I like that, but I feel like, so I've seen these weird like setups where like they're ones where like police officers will pull over like a black person driving and then be like, do you know why I pulled you over? And they're like, why? And they're like terrified. And they're like, for ice cream. And it's like, oh, cool.
Wow.
You used your power and oppression and like that stereotype to like scare these people. And
So
then
like a joke.
And it went viral and stuff. So I feel like a lot of these ones where they like dance and stuff, a lot of them are more like natural.
Yeah. Like this one, you can tell this wasn't like a PR stunt. I'm sure there's a lot of police departments across the country that are like trying to, do a lot of good in the community to make up for the fact that, there's horrible things that police officers are doing otherwise. But it's just nice to see examples like that, like people in the community doing things.
I love that the basis of your crush is like the quality of his character.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, my hall pass would be like, well, it used to be Pete Davidson, but
I was thinking of Pete Davidson, but I'm like, no, what did Pete do? Like, yeah, he's a talented comedian, but he just he proposed to Ariana Grande after a month of meeting her.
Well,
I mean, that's
my basis for having a crush on him wasn't anything like of substance. It was just like, oh, he's cute and he's funny.
And he's got that big dick energy, apparently, that's going viral.
But I can't,
funny.
it's now he's spoken for, and he's like completely age inappropriate for me too, I think.
How old is he?
What are you talking about?
I think he's like early 20s, right?
He's 24.
I mean, that's not age. I don't want to say age inappropriate, but
girl, get yours. I don't care.
Well, that BDE is spoken for.
It's true.
But yeah, what I was just saying is I really think that's cool that you dug in there and you're
I had to go all the way to Houston to find this police officer at a quinceañera. Over 4th of July weekend, and it's July 26th, so I had to go back like
What'd
far.
you Google?
I had to go back 3 weeks.
No, but what'd you Google? Like, what were your search terms?
I had to go like men doing nice things.
That's so funny.
How many results popped up?
I don't know, quite
3.
a few. And then I'm like, all right, let me break this down a little bit. Like, what kind of men? Okay, let's find a police officer doing something nice, because that's been like PR stunts I've been seeing lately on Instagram, like similar, Pallavi, to what you're saying. I'm like, all right, let's find like something. Let's find a good example of something in the community, something nice. So Sandy Fernandez, if you're out there or if you have friends that are listening to this, we appreciate you. Thank you
on
for
dancing,
being awesome.
Twinkle toes. Okay, mine is I like science shit, and I like teaching people about science stuff. And my favorite thing about doing that is clarifying like myths or rumors about stuff. So the science fact that I wanted to bring up for my segment was that a lot of people think that you only use 10% of your brain. And that's total bullshit. I know Scarlett Johansson made that movie about it or something. That's all false. I think there's a lot of like history about it. I, by the way, do computational neuroscience. I love neuroscience. I think brains are like so interesting, and we don't understand so much about them. And they're everything. They're perception. They're how we feel about everything. They're how we conduct every aspect of our ability to live. So I think it's super fun to dive into. But that false fact, was just propagated by just individuals, and it was based on this child prodigy, and they said like, oh, at first he was like using 10% in like the 1890s, and then it became this like thing.
How did they know in the
10%.
1890s that he was using 10% of his brain?
Or not 10%, but they just said they like tested this theory, and they thought it was a plausible claim that most people use 10%, and then he was using
Is that
more.
Wikipedia?
Yeah, it's Wikipedia.
You know, I edited that article, right?
Did you?
Before you.
Oh, great. Excellent. It says Fizaa uses 50%. No, it's just, but it like.
What a waste.
What?
What about the other 50%?
Oh, Fizaa uses 110% of her brain.
There it is.
I was.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
What percentage of our brain are we actually using?
So it's not like
day?
It's not like a percentage. Well, I don't know if there's like any answer for that.
Are you
but
using
what
all
this
parts of your brain?
Yeah. What this
Just
is
at different times?
Yeah. What this is based on is, I think what this is based on is this thing called plasticity. So your brain is composed of neural tissue, which have different cells. There are neurons, which are the cells that actually send signals back and forth and are responsible for like learning and everything. And then there are other supporting cells that kind of help protect the neurons and stuff. So the neurons,
so the Beyoncés and the Michelles.
The Kellys and the Michelles, and yeah. So the Beyonce.
What about the other two? There were two more that no one ever talked
They're
about.
done. They're old.
What
news.
happened to those?
Natasha and Latavia.
What, that was her name, Natasha and Latavia? Latasha.
Yeah.
Wow, we miss you girls wherever you are. Come on the podcast.
There was something recently about one of them.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I don't know. I think she was sick or something, but I think she got better.
Good.
But yeah.
So the Beyonce cells.
So the neurons, they send signals, and they're like responsible for like for how we think, for how our perception and feelings and sensory information is processed. So the way they send signals is that they there's a little space between them, between one Beyonce and the second Beyonce, like Sasha Fierce and Super Bowl Beyonce. and there are like chemicals that flow between that space from one to the other. And that's how like it causes one of them to have a signal and then the other one to have a signal. So those connections between neurons, between Beyonce cells, could get stronger or weaker. And that's what learning is. That's how we like process information and stuff. And so a lot of people, I think that this idea was just like them not knowing what learning was. But this whole thing is called plasticity, and it's the ability for your brain to change at any given point.
Do you think it's important to point out that the Beyonce cells need the support of the Michelle cells and the Kelly
really,
cells?
They really do. I think that they do need it. So maybe this analogy is flawed. But anyways, I like brain shit.
So the Beyonce cells can't function on their own.
The neurons.
The neurons.
Your neural tissue definitely.
Sorry.
Yeah, the Beyonce cells.
Yeah.
They
Don't apologize, Zahra. Own it.
Yeah,
okay.
they definitely need the supporting cells. Like when I'm going to go kind of deep. So there are people who are amputees, for example, and there's this really great technology I worked on during my master's, and they're called neural probes, and they're things that we stick in the brain to kind of compensate for damaged areas. And what they can do is they can read these signals and then output them to like a robotic arm or something.
Oh, I've heard about that.
So then these individuals who are amputees, a lot of them are veterans of war. they will think a thought as though they would normally move their arm. A computer processes that information and sends it to the arm so that they would move it as normal.
That is so cool.
So, but a problem with that is that when you stick these electrodes, these neural probes in the brain to accomplish this goal,
To program.
to send and receive signals from the neurons as though they're neurons themselves, they get surrounded by these supporting cells because it's a foreign object.
The supporting cells.
Yeah.
The supporting cells are like, you don't belong here. This is not natural. And so that forces the neurons that they're trying to signal to and from away from them.
So back to the flawed metaphor, the Kellys and the Latavias and the Latashas are afraid of being replaced.
Yeah, they're pushing the Beyoncés away from the electrodes. But yeah, so it's like, it's this great thing in nature to have these supporting cells that protect our, like, and you know, and they, you know, keep our cells like safe. But then when we're trying to like advance on it, that's the number one issue with electrodes right now, is that people don't know how to get them to not cause this reaction from the brain.
What's the reaction?
So they form like a scar. There are all these different cell types, and they try to like eat it, and they form like a scar around it and stuff. This was like I was working on building the probes
And what
in
are
my
the
master's.
effects? Is there a mental effect in the functioning of the brain, or is it more of just like a
Wait,
an
did you
issue?
test this on actual humans?
They've already been used in humans.
Okay.
There's an electrode from Utah and Michigan that are in commercial distribution. So they've already, you can look up videos of people moving prosthetic arms and stuff on
I've
YouTube.
seen this on Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah.
I don't know how much of that is real.
Yeah, no, it's happening. It's out there,
Wow.
but it's just not perfected, and like they often
Is there
have a short
damage?
lifetime. Yeah.
Is there damage to brain function?
So I mean, there's just like the electrodes are so small that the scar tissue is not that much.
Yeah.
But I don't know about the studies of that. But I do know
like
that
could
the
it cause long-term damage?
So for some designs, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but so for some designs, if there's damage to the probes and they, you know, you have to make sure that the insertion and everything is good. But if they like break or something in the brain, that's not good. But your brain is so good at like containing it that the main issue is just like, how do we get the brain to not react so strongly so that we don't have to go in there and take them out, you know, in a short time span and replace them.
Yeah.
So that's the main thing. A lot of these electrodes too, like they're used for different purposes. So like for Parkinson's disease, there's a thing called deep brain stimulation. It goes deeper. These electrodes go deeper, and they just send signals. And for some reason, you can watch videos too. They'll be shaking and they'll stop shaking when they turn on the signal and turn it off. So it's like some things we don't fully understand, and we don't know the full effects of it, but the results are like remarkable.
Do you know anything about shock therapy? Speaking of electrodes,
I don't know much.
for treatment of like depression. and all
Yeah,
that
I
stuff?
know that they still use it in some cases, and I think that it's like legit in those cases now, although it's so like stigmatized.
I mean, I was,
but I don't
considering it.
know for sure.
Shock
like,
therapy? Really?
Yeah.
but that's what like deep brain stimulate. It's like sending those electric signals. That's what it kind of is. But I don't know the parameters of actual shock therapy, like as is known in the clinical field.
Yeah.
But yeah, brain stuff is dope. That's my segment.
Wow. That was a lot. That's a lot of information.
Yeah.
And we actually have some group segments too, right?
Yeah.
This week, how did you guys break our stereotype? We have break the stereotype and build the stereotype.
How did I break our stereotype? I really have to think about this.
I mean, I'm wearing shorts.
Ooh.
Yeah. Scandalous.
Yeah, I feel like I break the stereotype every day by just existing and having an attitude.
I went to the Queer Comedy Fest. That's a big stereotype breaker.
Yeah.
Like the fact that we do comedy. The fact that I'm not getting this program to work is pretty stereotyping.
You're not being a good student.
I'm not a good student.
You know, I agree with Zahra. I feel like just sort of my whole existence is just breaking the stereotype. Just like, I don't know.
I wonder if there's like any instances that happen.
Yeah,
this
I mean,
week.
you had a big one. You went to the
festival.
the Queer Comedy Festival.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was super dope. Everybody was amazing.
Were there other people of color?
Yeah, there were, but there was one woman, shout out to Bianca, she posted that she wants to start a Queers of Color festival because there was a show.
Mm-hmm.
And
QOC?
yeah, it was called the QOC show, and it was like dope, super, super funny comedians on that, like Irene Tu and Corinda Dobbins and Diana Hong. And Brandon, I forget his last name. But like there was like there were a few queers of color, but Bianca wanted to start like an actual festival around it. I think that would be super fun. That's like
QC Fest.
Oh, we all collectively did broke the stereotype. We did the Disoriented Comedy Show the other night. And when have you ever seen a group of that many Asians and South Asians in a room not there for educational or professional purposes?
For comedy.
Like it was like just a room of us, like 30 plus comedians and like 100 people in the audience.
How many Zahras were on the lineup?
There were 2 Zahras on the lineup, just 2.
They were originally back to back with them.
Yeah, we were originally back to back. Well, I think I don't know. I don't want to put anyone on blast, but I think we were both reached out to, and I think they forgot to confirm me. And then I think I asked them like, hey, I never got a confirmation. And I think they were like, oh shit, we had to do both Zahras. We only did one Zahra. So I was kind of feeling a little weird about it. Like, what? This is like usually nobody puts like all the Zahras on the same show. So I just figured like, all right, maybe she got the spot instead of me. There was only room for one.
That's not what they're thinking.
Well, I don't know.
Zahra, nobody is trying to fill. In the Disoriented Comedy is super dope.
I know. But I haven't dealt with them before.
Wait. Let me say.
Okay.
But Disoriented Comedy is super dope, and they created this group of Asian comics, and they're like do a bunch of shows, and they have the Comedy Festival. And I feel like they're not trying to fill quotas, you know?
No, of course.
No Zahra quotas. We don't stand for that shit.
Plus, like,
I absolutely know this, but this is also like the first time that I was like working with them.
Yeah.
So I wasn't sure. And I think that like there was a little bit of confusion.
Yeah.
You know, but we sorted it out and it was a great show. I had a blast.
Do you know
doing
what's funny is you were thinking that, but like Jenny didn't recognize me at first because I haven't seen her since I cut my hair. So they like booked me, but she forgot that I had short hair. She was like, "Oh my god, it was you!" Like, yeah,
you went back to back with another brown woman with short hair.
Yeah, it was funny. It worked for my set.
Yeah.
I went right after Fizaa. That was fun.
That's cool.
Yeah.
They kind of like grouped us in pairs.
How'd your set go? Your sets go? I had to leave.
They were dope.
Yeah, Fizaa was great. I had a great set. It was a lot of fun.
We're all just some funny bitches.
Yeah.
You know, if you put up like, you know, all great comedians and tell them to do 3 minutes, everybody has like 3 minutes
Killer
of solid
3.
material, you know? So it was a pretty great lineup, and it was a smarter crowd. So it was fun to do like some of the stuff that requires some thinking. So it was fun.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
That's good.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jenny Notsko.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. Thank you for
wonderful
the
show.
Disoriented Comedy Show. That was awesome.
Oh yeah.
How did we build this? Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say like the confusion. Like you guys, your names are spelled the same. You both have that H in there.
Yeah. So Zahra Nurbakhsh and I have the same spelling of our name, and then there's 2 other Zahras, Zahra Mizrahi and Zahra Khan, that spell their names Zara.
I thought there's another Zahra too, isn't there?
There might be a few Zahras that are like actresses that their agents told them to try stand up, because apparently every agent in Hollywood is telling every actress and actor to try stand up.
Did you know that Zahra Ali never needs to carry an umbrella with her because she always has shade?
Oh, was that shade?
Was it shade? I don't know.
Is there shade?
I'm just okay. Here's the thing. Like I only ever wanted to do stand up, and now I'm being pushed into like doing other things.
I feel you.
And it's like, it's just so hard when someone like doesn't really want to do stand up, but they're like, I'm here because my agent said that comedy is really cool right now. And then like they do, and then you have to like listen to them do their, and like they don't know how to do, like they don't know set up, like premise, set up, punchline. Just write jokes, people.
To be fair,
write jokes.
There are people who only want to do stand up and shouldn't. Like there's the opposite where they just like they also can't write jokes.
Yeah. It's just LA. It's
just a lot of waiting at open mics.
It's a lot of, you know what it is? Like I don't have time. And sometimes when I go to these mics just to try out new material, I have to sit through like 3.5 hours of this, and we all do it, you know, but it's just so
there's an oversaturation.
It's just so saturated right now.
Can I tell you a crazy story from an open mic the other night?
Yeah.
There was an Armenian dude, I think, who got up and was doing like impressions, and he was doing like he was doing Richard Pryor, and then he like lifted his voice and it was like Wanda Sykes, and like there were black people there and they were like, that's funny, like that was so like that's a good impression. And then one of them
was it a black guy?
It was an Armenian guy.
Oh, Armenian guy. Okay.
And then a black guy went, that's N-word approved, and he said it, and then the guy was like, yeah, N-word approved, and repeated it. And then we all literally got up, we're like, no.
This was the Armenian dude?
Yeah,
do you remember his name? Because I feel like I might know who you're.
I know his first name, but I don't want to say it.
Was that his buddy who said that and he repeated it?
No, they weren't buddies.
Okay.
But no.
Was there a confrontation?
Yeah, because it wasn't like violent or anything. It wasn't angry. Like the black people and we all stood up. I was like, I made a joke.
So well,
I know.
He was doing so well.
I made a joke. Yeah, I made a joke. I was like, you don't need to gentrify a neighborhood to get black people to leave. Just yell the N-word and they'll all get up. Because we all like stood up and we were like, no, like just because that's like it was so. But they were nice. They were like, you just know you shouldn't say that. Just don't say that. And then he tried to go back into his bits, but then he got defensive again, and he was just like, you guys are too thin-skinned.
Oh my God.
And it was just like there's tension in the air. Then so that ends. We're just like, whatever, it's fine. Like he feels uncomfortable, whatever. Like we know that he's not supposed to say that. And then at the end of the mic, they were asking if anybody else wanted to go up. And there was another dude who came up who was Dominican. And he was like, he just like went off. And at first it was like, okay, he was just trying to have empathy. And he was like, he wasn't a comic. They were just like letting whoever go up or whatever.
Where was this?
It was at Hollywood Hotel.
Oh, okay.
And he was like, you guys just went in on that guy and he's Armenian and you guys called us all white and I'm Dominican and he's Armenian and they're all different and stuff. And you guys had all these jokes about white people and stuff. And he was just trying to do his impressions and you made him feel really bad and he left and all these things. And at first I was like, all right, like maybe he just feels bad for his friend and, you know, like he's trying to like stand up for him. But then people started like teasing him a little bit and he was just like, I'm tired of all these black jokes. And like his tone just like, it was so bad. It was so like insane at this open mic and having to see that over and over again where it's just like comedians that aren't experienced that also can be like inflammatory and stuff.
Yeah.
That's exhausting.
Did his agent send him?
I don't know. I don't think he wasn't a comic. We were just like, oh, it's the end of the mic. Who else wants to go up?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we thought he's a poet or something, and we thought he was going to do poetry. And there was this one black guy who was at the end of his set who was just like, tell a joke. Like he was just trying to. It was so funny. He was trying to get him to tell a joke. Anyways, that was that experience.
I don't know how we got started on this. I think, I was sorry. I was throwing shade on Hollywood for pushing people to do stand-up that's creating this like stand-up boom, right? This bubble, really.
Mm-hmm.
And like it was kind of related to what we said in a previous episode where like, oh, Michael Che came out with, there's an article where he basically said like, hey, like Netflix, stop calling some of these things you're putting out comedy specials because they're not.
Yeah, we talked about the Hannah Gadsby one.
Yeah, I mean, it's like a different genre.
The dramedy specials,
the tragedy specials or whatever. And I think everyone's using stand-up as like this excuse to like voice or as therapy or like whatever. And it's not comedy. Like, you know, like do call it something else. But if you're here doing stand-up comedy, write jokes.
Yeah. I mean, do you think that's the distributors?
I think
bad for doing that?
I think she also played into it.
Yeah. I mean, look, they're marketing it as a comedy special. They're still marketing it as a comedy special.
Yeah. I think it's bad for comedy.
It's bad for comedy.
In it, she literally says she quits comedy, which I enjoyed her special, by the way.
I liked it, but I wouldn't call it a comedy special. And I think there was, I will say that there are like, like most of the people who said it was trash or like didn't like, who just disregarded what she was saying in it. A lot of them were men. Yeah. But I know a lot of women that connected to what she was saying. I just think it was labeled incorrectly. And also, I don't think her jokes at the end were that funny.
Yeah. I did think she was funny, but maybe my expectations were so low. But I actually laughed.
I'm all for calling these shows, like one-woman shows, or like I'm all for calling them something else. Because I really enjoy watching like one-man shows and one-woman shows, like learning about people's experiences. Yeah. I really like that. You know, just from like a dramatic point of view or as like a person point of view. But like when you come out here and you start like just telling people about your lives and under like this ruse of comedy, that's not fair. Because like people
cry when I expect to laugh.
People have an expectation to laugh. And if I'm not laughing for an entire hour, that was not a comedy special.
At least Hassan had punchlines. Okay. I guess that's the end of our podcast. We were going to do a built the stereotype thing, but fuck it.
Next time. Next time.
Okay. We wanted to do a promo thing. If you rate and subscribe and leave reviews on iTunes, then you'll be entered into a raffle to win a dope care package. We are Facial Recognition Comedy on Instagram and Facebook, and Facial Rec Comedy on Twitter. And we also have a website, facialrecognitioncomedy.com, and a Patreon, which is patreon.com/facialrecognitioncomedy, where you get all sorts of fun perks. And you get to actually watch the videos that are connected to these podcast episodes. I'm Pallavi Ganalan. That's Pallav. Oh, God damn it.
Did you forget? You forgot.
No, I didn't. Fizaa started laughing in the middle of it.
Don't lie. You forgot to spell your name.
You forgot.
You guys are the worst.
Your Beyonce cells are tired.
That's not true. That's actually very true. Okay, can we get through this? Okay, good. Pallavi Ganalan, PallaviGunalan. That's my website, my Facebook, my Instagram, my Twitter. Go on, you girls with the weird names too.
I'm Fizaa Dasani. That is spelled, or on Twitter it's Fizaa Dasani, and Instagram is Fizaa Dasani, spelled FIZAADOSANI, and on Facebook, the Fizaa, and then FizaaDasani.com.
Okay. I don't know, guys. Send me ideas for handles for social media. My current handles, Instagram is Zahra does IG. Zahra is spelled Zahra does IG. And Twitter is Zahra does tweets. That's it.
And you're still Zahra Lee Live on Facebook, right?
No, I think I'm Zahra does it on Facebook.
Oh,
I don't know what my life is right now.
Zahra
Okay,
be doing shit.
I don't know. Send me ideas.
Don't get too attached to those handles.
Yeah, whatever.
Bye. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.